Hello, business owners. This is your fit photographer, Angee Gerard, coming at you with my 2025 campaign. The goal is to promote and empower her enterprise. Yes, the goal is to elevate women of color in business. On March the 1st, we are set to launch this new campaign, and it doesn't matter what your business is. Please contact us at www.andregerardphotography.com to book your consultation. Let's make this an amazing year. Follow me on all social media at Angee Gerard, your fit photographer.
And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pat Nash Talks. And I know you're like, okay, it's kind of early for that, right? So if you noticed when we posted this, we are actually live. So you get to chime in and talk to us. And I have a special guest tonight. I cannot wait to introduce him to you. But we have an interesting subject. And I know you notice I have on sporting wear because this is going to be airing Super Bowl Sunday. And so we're going live tonight, you guys, and we are live, but you will get a chance to interact. And then Super Bowl Sunday, when most of us are off enjoying the Super Bowl with our families, you'll get a chance to watch the retake or the rerun, but you'll also get a chance to comment. So without further ado, I want to introduce to some and just say hey to other people. My co-host, I think he'll be popping up any moment here. I'm so excited to have my brother, my friend, Tony D in the house. And I was so excited that he said yes to pop on tonight and actually say hi to everyone and talk with me on this subject of playing the field. And we're going to talk about connection or relationship. So I met this brother. I'm not going to talk forever, Tony. You know how I get, but I'm going to tell him how I met you. I met this brother as part of the Level Up Nation family. And when I first met him, I tell him all the time, the wisdom and the connection, we're talking about connection and relationship, was there. So he felt like a brother from another mother immediately. And we connected. And now with Level Up Nation, the relationship as far as family is solid. And I could go on and on about him, you guys. He's doing a lot out there. So I feel honored that he would grace us tonight on the show and just chat with me right here on the couch and just have conversation. So Tony D, you want to say hi to everyone and kind of say anything you want to about you, where you're from, where you live, kind of what you do, so they'll know who you are before we get into this thing.
Yeah, thank you, Pat, for having me on. I appreciate you. My name's Dallas Anthony Frazier is what my mama named me, but everybody calls me Tony D. I took the Tony from Anthony and the D from Dallas. That's where I get Tony D from. I've been in radio for over 21 years, and I help promote independent recording artists. Just love what I do, love sharing new music. And I'm excited about being a part of Level Up Nation. Been a part, I would say, maybe 6 months now, and it's really been a great collaboration. I got a new family, so I'm excited, and I'm excited about being on with you tonight. I'm not excited about wearing my cowboy hat. I'm not too happy about that, but since you did
I'm wearing
say
49er stuff,
yeah.
so hey.
So, I figured I wasn't gonna wear my jersey, but I said at least I put the hat on.
No, we're gonna show our colors. It don't matter. They still the team.
Right.
We'll get them next time, right? We'll get them next time.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I asked him since this will be aired on Super Bowl Sunday, and we're not wearing Eagles colors. We're just not gonna do it. I mean, hey, but we're gonna wear what we wear, and we're gonna rep who we rep, and we're gonna have this conversation tonight.
Right.
So no disrespect. The teams did their things. Hey, we're team players, right? They won fair and square. We're gonna just roll.
Hey,
with it.
I'm going for Kansas City. I want to see.
You
see them
are okay.
Yeah.
You're going with Kansas City. I'm gonna tell you, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm gonna show up for the party. I'm gonna be honest. Half the time, everybody knows They say I'm not a sports fan. Y'all probably will know why. Because I will rep Dallas, Texas. I mean, I'm from Oklahoma. That's all I knew. When growing up, that's all I knew. And I just thought their coach was the coolest man with the hat. And I was like, hey, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Growing up, that's what we aspired to be, right? So then I moved to Atlanta for 20 years. And when you're in Falcon country, you just love the excitement and the parties and all of that stuff. So I have my Falcons clothes. And then at the time, I know y'all gonna say this girl's crazy. At the time, most of my girlfriends were don't be upset, they were New Orleans Saints fans. So they made me wear some Saints gear. So in my repertoire, I have San Francisco 49er. How I got this for me. So I have Falcon stuff. I have Cowboy stuff. And somewhere in the back of my closet, I do not wear it. I have New Orleans Saints. Let me say something about them Saints fans. I have to say it. They give the best parties. Win, lose, or draw, they'll be there for their team.
Okay. Well, I was in Philly last week during the NFC Championship, and let me tell you about them Philly fans. they are dedicated for their Philadelphia Eagles. We were in one of the clubs, and let me tell you, they was turning up last week. So yeah.
Yes, I have a good friend from Philly. She was hanging out with the New Orleans Saints girls, so that was like. And then they were in Atlanta. I was like, y'all just need to get out of Atlanta. If y'all not gonna cheer for Atlanta, get out of Atlanta.
Right.
But all sports stuff aside, brother, I appreciate you being here because I know you have something to help the folks out. And you guys, we only can give our perspective on what we're talking about on this subject. And I wanted a brother because a lot of times I'm here and they're like, yeah, you always give the female perspective, not the brother's perspective. So I have a brother on here and he's outspoken. I mean, he's from New York. So he gonna that's an ongoing thing about New Yorkers. It's like, hey, they tell you what's on their mind. They don't, they don't play around with it. So
that is true.
Right? Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah. So I told him, he's like, oh Lord, what are we gonna talk about? And I said, well, one thing I love about this show is unscripted. That's like my brother over there, and I'm just talking to him and saying, hey, this is what I heard, what you think. That's kind of how this is gonna go. So playing the field, I have a definition of playing the field, and Tony, you probably have a definition of playing the field. Do you want me to call you by your stage name or by your given name?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So you probably have, I just thought about something. That's so cool that you're called Dallas and you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. But anyway, so you probably have a definition. What is your definition of playing the field?
When it in relationships, it means when you're single and you're ready to mingle, you have you're just out there having a good time, you're enjoying life with multiple friends, not really tying yourself down to anybody, you're just enjoying traveling, good restaurants, just having a good time playing the field,
going on date nights, doing your thing, right?
Going on date nights, Netflix and chill, going to Dave and Buster's or going to Papa Do's or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some single women that feel like those are not real date places. Like, you have to take me to this special place, we spend a whole bunch of money if you are dating me. So they don't like the Dave and Buster's, the what is the other cheese? Did you say Cheesecake Factory? Because that was one of the things on a live one time. They were like, don't take me to no Cheesecake Factory. I'm like, what? I like the Cheesecake Factory. First of all, like, what is wrong with going to Cheesecake Factory? But that's my definition too of playing the field. Just playing every position, just out there doing what you want to do. You don't have anybody that you are necessarily have to give an account to, and you're doing your thing. You're what you say, it's all fun and games, right?
Right.
Don't get me started. It's all fun and games till somebody get hurt, right? And
Right.
Angie said, "You're not attached." Okay, you're
Right.
unattached. You're just playing the field.
Yeah.
So
So this is for single people.
thank you,
not
brother,
the,
for saying
not the
that.
folks that's married.
Thank you, brother, for saying that. But that's gonna fall on some deaf ears. So
Right.
I gave a
Right.
show
Right.
one time and I was like, yeah, please say if you're single or if you're single, because there is a different definition. Single don't mean you just by yourself showing up, but you got a counterpart at home. That don't mean single.
Right. Right.
Single means you are not married. So let's say that you are not married. We are not talking to married folks because you should not be playing the field. So
Right.
So, question for you, because we had this discussion off page, right? What's more, what do you think comes first, a relationship or a connection when you're dealing with in a dating situation? If you're dealing with a person, is it a relationship or a connection?
It should be a
Sorry, y'all.
connection. It should be a connection first. Um, you should take
Sorry.
time to find out if you guys have similar things in common. Um, uh, find out what your religious beliefs are, political beliefs, personal upbringing beliefs, traditions, and stuff like that. So, where you want to go down the
Mhm.
road, 5, 10 years. So I think it should be a connection first before a relationship, but sometimes that happens the opposite way. You get into a relationship and realize that there's no connection, and
Mhm.
then you're like, okay, what do we do? We're trying to put a square in a circle, and
Mhm.
it's really hard to do that after the fact. Now you can take some time to make a connection after the fact, but both parties have to be willing to do so.
Yeah.
We have to be willing
Yeah.
to be open. Mm.
I'm glad you said that, because see, there's two sides to this. Like some people say, no, you have to have a relationship before you even connect. And you and I agree actually. I'm like, I can have a business relationship with someone or even a friendship. There's no connection as far as wanting to even build a deeper relationship. So some people say that is a relationship. A relationship, whether it's friendship or whatever, is a relationship. So you have to have the relationship before you develop a connection. But in my opinion, I think it's easier. Let's say you can do it either way, like you said. But I think it's easier if you have a deep connection first. You feel connected to that person and you say, well, let me investigate and see if I want to build a relationship with them. I think relationships take time. And so let me see if I even want to invest my time and energy into creating a relationship with this
Yeah,
person. That's what
yeah,
I'm thinking.
yeah. And so think it. Let's not talk about man and woman relationship. Let's say business partners. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
got to have some type of connection to be able to have the relationship in business. You know what I'm saying? So many times we jump into business relationships and we realize, oh man, this was a terrible mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it takes time to cultivate the connection on both sides, whether it be in uh, a man-woman relationship or business relationship, or even church.
You
you
better
know,
say
even,
it. You better
even
say
church.
it.
There's got to be a connection with that church body that you belong to begin to develop that relationship. Every church is not for every individual. So that's a whole nother topic, but yeah.
It sure is. And that's why I'm saying, to me, not every person, because like I can have a friendship with someone, but because I didn't feel that deep connection, I don't care to develop anything else. Let me give you
Right.
an example, even on the business side. I recently had a conversation. Angie gonna probably bust out laughing and spit it out right now. Um, Somebody just commented. What was that? I want to make sure I don't miss anybody too. Somebody,
Orlando, what's up? What's up, Orlando?
Good Friday. So, like recently, I had a brother, really good friend of mine. I do business with him, right? I wanted to introduce him to the nation. He's very skilled, right? So I started talking to him, And I promise you, it was like, no. I said,
Mm,
good evening. That's Mary. That's the diamond showing up. Um, I was like, no, what I'm not going to do, because we're such a close knit family. And, you know, we give and take. Like, you know, I may not know something. I may ask you, or I may
right.
ask you for your help, or vice versa. And all of us in the shows, what I love about us, we freely give that freely. So the moment I started talking to him and telling him some things that we have going on and how I'm excited because we're working together cohesively like this. And it's not easy for a group of people to be in one accord and really work together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he started asking questions like, okay, before I even come to the table, you know, what you offering? Well, how much money's on the table? This, that, and that. And I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. First of all, we, I haven't, I said, let me back you up. What I think is best is you and I continue to do work. I will not bring you into the family acting like an opportunist. I won't do
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
because I have too much respect for them and what we're building. Because what I know for sure, what the devil can't destroy, he will distract, and he will create all kinds of delineation and separation. And I'm not about to, at this stage of us building this thing together, I'm not about to. Hey, Bert's showing up too. I don't even have my glasses on, and I think that was Bert.
Yeah, that was.
Because I'm like, ugh. So but what I said, you guys, please like, share, hit the like button and subscribe, share. We want to get this out. But I didn't want to bring him to the group. Doesn't mean I don't love him, doesn't mean he and I don't have a relationship, but there is no connection to who we are and how we're vibing and moving together. So he doesn't fit. He does not fit. And so I would
Right.
not even introduce that kind of connection to us, because I know
Right.
it would not be conducive to what we're building. So
Right.
to me, that's a connection. If there is no connection to the energy and to the vibration and what we got moving, I'm not bringing it to the table because I know how important it is. Don't
Right.
mean I don't love them. Don't mean I won't do business with them. I just won't bring them into this group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everything is so valuable, whether it's a relationship or whether it's a business, and you cannot take any time to bring in uh, a loose nail. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure
Yeah.
that it's a right fit for everything. So the question I have for you though is how long do you play the field? How long, are you out there just having a good time, doing what you do, how do you get that light bulb moment that says, okay, I'm ready to try to find somebody that I can get to know a little bit better, to have this connection, this collaboration, which can morph into a relationship?
Good idea, because I would have asked you that had you not asked me that. But good idea. That's the benefit of having another talk show host on. You don't have to come up with all the good questions. And I want to say hi to Cargation, my niece is on, and Carmen. Hey, Carmen. So I would say for me is what we're talking about. The moment I feel a connection that makes me want to come off first base, second base, or whatever, off the field, and say, let me come in and sit here for a minute and see what this person is all about. Because I felt that connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because I think when you're playing the field, you're waiting for that spark. You're waiting for something to intrigue you enough to look a little closer and say, then you ask the questions. Because you're like, okay, this is worth investigating. This person is coming up and kind of saying the right thing, and I feel that vibe. Angie's coming in. It's not a time limit to it. It's when you meet that right person, and you will know it in your heart. I have a question for you, my brother.
Uh-oh.
I hear, I hear a lot from a lot of people that men know before the woman know. Like a man will say, "This is my person," before a woman will. Do you believe that is true? Like a man know the person that they will come off the field for, and they know it quick. and if they don't know that, it's that connection was not strong enough. Is that true?
I've heard that. I've heard that. I've heard some of my colleagues tell me that they have been in that situation where they was like, yo, Tony, man, I realized it early on. So I
Yeah,
believe that does happen in
yeah,
some cases. And I believe that it also happens in the opposite, that it takes some time. You gotta let that cake bake a little bit to let the ingredients come to in there and that cake rise. You know what I'm saying? But I have heard that, yeah, because I don't believe in love at first sight. I believe in lust at first sight. I
yeah.
don't believe in love at first sight. Or
Okay.
connect, a connection at first sight. But yeah, I think
But
that
the
could happen.
relationship and the love come a little later. Is that what you're saying? You develop a love from that connection that you have, or that initial lust because you like what you see. You
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Your brother Orlando said he ain't gonna even lie. He's sitting on the bench right now. He ain't even in the field. Nothing. I'm
Hey,
gonna need
you
to
know
come
what?
off the bench.
Sometimes that ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So Paul, we're gonna get biblical. Paul said, I wish that all y'all get married, but it's for me. I'm gonna just keep it right here, because he knew how busy he was in ministry and stuff like that. So sometimes, it's not time for an individual to be to make a commitment to get in a relationship, because a relationship takes a lot of time. It takes a
It
lot of
does.
uh, 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 everything. And if you're so ingrained or heavy into what you're building, whether it be your 9 to 5 or your ministry or your business, you have to say, give it, be 100. Say, yo, I'm digging our vibe, but right now we're just gonna have to be kicking it, because I'm focused right here. And if the individual can't roll with that, then
They're
you
not for
don't
you. They're not for
just
you.
roll on.
So cool. I believe that too, right? I believe that you know how you said you don't believe it's love at first sight. I don't believe that either, but I do believe that you feel something. I don't know if it's lust, because I can't say I lusted, you know, anybody I've like been instantly interested. I was not like, ooh, I want to jump your bones or something. I looked at them, and maybe a couple of words or was exchanged. It had to be words. That's interesting for me. I think they say it's a sapiosexual person. Like, you have to be
Mhm.
talking about something, because
Right,
you can be attractive to the eye, and the moment you open your mouth, it just shuts everything down for me,
right,
because it's like,
right.
okay, this is I was gonna say his
Hot,
name.
it's
I'm
a hot
not gonna
mess.
say
This is
it.
a hot mess right here.
I'll be
Right.
like, they have those Donald Trump vibes, like, ooh, golly, ooh, the
Right.
wrong thing coming out your mouth always,
Right.
So I am not attracted to someone who does not know how to speak to people. It's like, that is, so people will say, what is your type? And I think they're saying type based on what you see, right? So there is an attraction that I have to a certain type, but it's not hard and fast, because sometimes they have no conversation. And it's the one who has that's talking about something that gets the attention. And it's like, oh, okay, I could go out with them. I could spend time talking to them. I could, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it
Yes.
does. It does. And so
Yeah.
here is something really cool. Um, I knew somebody who was in a relationship with a young lady, and she was, when I tell you, she was off the chain. I
She was
mean,
fine.
beautiful, beautiful, right?
Yes.
For
On the
whatever
outside.
reason, on the outside, for whatever reason, they broke up. And it was some time down the road that he got with a young lady who had it going on, but was not as physically attractive, or
Mhm.
you know, that as the other young lady.
Yes.
And the boys was like, yo, bro, like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so in
Yeah.
my mind, and I have to be honest, initially I was wondering that too. But then as I matured, and I got it, because sometimes it's what an individual brings to the table as
Yeah.
opposed to always on the outside. So I look at this analogy like this. If I drive a 2000, one of my vehicles is a 2002 Ford F-150, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fly to me, but it's got
Mm-hmm.
some rust on it. some paint is fading, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The inside, you know, is a little ripped up on the seats, but she run like a champ.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's sometimes it's not always about when you mature into this, it's not always about the outer appearance, because really in reality, we may look good, but there'll be times where we're gonna put on some weight, we're gonna get a little saggy skin, we're
Right.
gonna get a little
Right.
gray hair, and
Mhm.
if that person
God
doesn't have
forbid, but I
something on
get
the
you.
inside, you know, that's gonna help continue to get you to the level that you want to be in, or help
Yeah.
you grow, then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. We talked about that. I want to say last Sunday we said, what does money really have to do with it? Because sometimes you can be a rich poor person, like you have lots of money, but you have no depth, no content to your character. And for a lot of us, I'm serious. For a lot of women, it's not enough just for you to be able to afford to go out to dinner. It's like, how do you treat me? What are your words like? And to me, the words are what heal. Words heal, words build, and words help to bring a relationship together. And if you even talk about it from a Christianity aspect or from a biblical aspect, the word is so important. It's life to us, right? It can be,
Yeah.
there's life or death in the power of the tongue. So if you're not talking nothing, you're not saying nothing, you're just making noise. Sometimes that is a complete turnoff for a lot of people, unless they have no character and it's all about the money. I don't care what you say, how you say it, it's about the
Mary
money.
said I could buy my own stuff.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, that's actually what we're talking about. Orlando's laughing at me because I said jump your bones, but I know that's probably probably an old thing.
Yeah.
An old
Yeah,
thing.
it's all good.
But it's a clean version. You know what I meant.
Right,
So
right.
what Mary is saying is that's how we feel. It's like, look, I can buy my own dinner. I could take my own self and buy clothes and all these things that, some people are looking for guys to do for them. But you mentioned something very important. There's going to come a time in our life when all the things we saw physically that attracted us are gone. And even money can be gone. And what's
Yeah,
left is the character and the heart of a person.
yeah.
And you're going to be in trouble if you connected with this person. I know people who did it. You connected with this person strictly for the money. The
Right,
money is gone, and now you're left with nothing.
right,
I'm not talking money. I'm talking about nothing, because the only thing that connected you was the money. And once
right.
that's gone, the relationship is over. So the point being, the relationship to me comes after that initial connection. But then there are some people say, hey, I have all kind of relationships. They don't get deep unless I connect with somebody on something. I understand that. But because you ever had a friend that you're like, hey, I've known them forever, but all of a sudden, wow, kind of the girl next door, the guy next door syndrome. All of a sudden, like, dang, where they come from? Oh, they've been
Mhm.
next door all this time. You just never saw them for who they really were. You just got a chance to know them. And now you feel more than like, hey, this is the neighbor. I got a connection with this person. I want a relationship. So you guys ask questions, because will be willing to answer them. Especially if you have any questions or comment you want to chime in. Angie said, though, she believed a man knows as soon as he sees the woman that is the one for him. To an extent, he
To an
knows.
to an extent.
Hmm.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah.
He's agreeing with that. Go ahead.
I think one of the things that happens on both sides, and I heard TD Jake say this years ago, is that we have our representatives out
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
representative leaves. That's why I said to an extent, because once the representative leaves, you get to see the real person, you know. And so why just have the real person up front? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna
Like,
say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm probably gonna get in trouble, and Bert's probably gonna go get his popcorn. So I married a representative one time, and yeah, And I was like, God, you have to forgive me because I'm about to divorce this rascal. Because uh, because I believe in premarital counseling, right? I was a counselor for premarital counseling. So before I got married, that was a prerequisite for me. And I'm telling you, what I like about a lot of premarital counseling books, they give you spots to write in, right? To me, I was born on the sign of March, so we could pull out some receipts, right? So the stuff he wrote down about 8, 9 months into relationship, I'm like, and I know we talked about this. And I'm looking at the answers and I'm like, this ain't lining up with what is going on. And I realized quickly that I married the representative. The representative went through premarital counseling and everything and just was not open. It was just writing down the answers that were the right answer for me, but was really the wrong answer is if you were going to be candid and not just be making up something to impress the person sitting next to you, right? And that is only good. You guys, it is only good for a short period of time to do that because liars have to have good memories. Yes, a very short time. Liars have to have good memories. And if you got somebody like me who's been through it, I'm going to write some stuff down and I'm going to
Right.
go back and show you what you said and what you're doing and that they're two different things. And just because I'm a believer at this point doesn't mean I'm going to be self-sacrificial and just lay on the altar, so to speak, and go through the motions because you were not honest. And I could say with a clear conscience, you are my brother. You're not my husband. You're my brother. That's not going to change because my husband would have answered those and would have been the person that they said they were to me. And I don't owe any man anything but to love them, right? So I love you, but I'm going to love you way over there and I'm going to wait for my husband because that's not you. And shame on me for not just, checking those answers and and checking those answers out for some time. Sometimes we get in a hurry, especially
Yeah.
in the faith. It's
Yeah.
better to marry than to burn. So
Right.
if you're having desires, you're going to hurry up and get married because you don't want to be in sin, right?
Right.
Let's say it real.
Yeah.
And you do that and you realize, I should have fact checked some of this stuff because this ain't lining up. But yeah. So I'm just I'm gonna leave that alone. And I'm
No,
gonna say
no, but you're right.
it's real. I have a man that I respect very, very much. He is a man of faith. He had but one wife, and it was his first love and his first encounter intimately. They're still married. The man is brilliant, speaks 7 languages, upstanding man, ain't never in the news with no mess. And so he living what he says. And he stood there flat-footed and say, why I don't advocate divorce. It should not take you years and years to realize Pookie lied to you and you done married the wrong person. So it don't take 12, 15 years to realize you made a mistake. People ought to repent and go about their business and be wiser next time. I don't advocate divorce, but I also don't advocate lying and being abused. And what you don't use properly is called abuse. So if you're misusing someone, that is abuse. And so I don't advocate abuse. I used to say in the Christian faith, there is no divorce, there is no reason for it, none of that. It's not if you're living honest and you're being honest and true to what you said you were going to do when you said it long after the feeling is gone. Long after the lust is gone, you're keeping your word, you're keeping your commitment because honestly, a relationship is nothing more than a commitment, than a covenant. As long as you're keeping it and you're being honest and true and kind and all those things you're supposed to be, it really shouldn't be a reason for it, but it's in there for a reason. If your heart is hardened, give them a written. Here you go. Go be happy. Go do your thing. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying I advocate it, but I'm also not advocating living your whole life as short as it is, miserably. I don't do that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Y'all be mad at me later. Send me some mail, whatever messages. I'm just being honest, and
No,
that's the only way I know how to do.
I totally agree because like you said, life is short, and you
Too
don't want to
short.
be miserable with the person that you got to wake up with every day. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, I get you.
And honestly, I don't know if you've ever watched those shows, true crime. I don't know why I'm saying this. Probably should not be saying this, but I'm looking like, why would you take somebody out? Just get a divorce. Is it really that much of a stigma attached
Right.
to it that you would rather
Yeah.
kill someone than to say you're
Right.
divorced? What
Right.
is that? What
Yeah.
is that? I don't get it.
That's crazy.
That's
That's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you keep hurting somebody or want to take them out because you don't want them?
Mm-hmm.
Give them a written divorce. Go live your life. And I mean,
Right.
hey, it might be shameful. It might be hurtful to you to say, hey, we didn't make it. But to me, there is no shame in saying, I did my best. I did my level best. And I can say that with all truth and honesty.
You,
I
you
did my
know,
level best. It didn't work.
nowadays that shame is not as strong as it was back in the day. You
Mm,
know,
mm, mm,
you
mm.
think about back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, people say I got a divorce, and they're looking at you like you got the pleurisy.
Yeah, like
You
something
know?
is wrong with you.
Yeah,
They automatically assume if you're
right,
divorced, either one, it's something
right,
you did or something you did wrong.
right.
I'm
But it's
sorry. It may be something I did right because I
yeah,
realized, okay, I was wrong. I was
yeah,
wrong in making a choice without all of the information. I was
right.
wrong. And I'm
And
okay. Go ahead.
and making a choice without really seeking God.
There you go. And
Though
you'd be
I
like, I
mean,
didn't tell you to do that. You did that on your own. Look how it turned out.
so
So are you
some
ready to repent and do something different?
one of my things I say to people is God. I don't believe God ordains every relationship. I believe we ordain relationships, and God says, okay. And now in the midst of that, He can still use that for His
Mhm.
glory and have amazing things happen from it. And He also can make that unordained relationship become something solid that can really bless many. But
Yes, yes.
I think a lot of times we ordain, uh, whether it's a spousal relationship, business relationship, whatever the case may be, and then we got to come back and ask God, Lord, help me with this. Well, he be like, I ain't said for you to do that in the first place.
You said you wanted it, and I let you have it. Remember back
Yeah,
in the day, they like, we want a king, we want a king. Okay, here you go. You tax like crap. It feels horrible. Your whole family's suffering because of the choice you wanted, and he
kind of
let you
like what we
have it.
going, kind of like what we're going through right now.
Perfect example, right? I
well,
say this.
well,
I say this, brother.
well.
Kiss, kiss with your eyes closed, but get married with them wide open.
Right.
Understand what you're
Now
dealing
I'm
with.
kissing with my eyes open too.
No, that's kind of creepy, brother. You kissing somebody, you open your eyes, and they looking at you.
I want to make sure.
No, no. So I mean,
Make sure
laughingly
they
or
don't snatch
jokingly.
that wig off. Full of teeth. Are you sure those eyes are gray or those contacts? I'm gonna look. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Look and rub them like this. Angie, Angie, if we walk up to you and start rubbing your eyes like this, you're gonna know what we're trying to figure
Right,
out
right.
is that real
Touch
or no
that head.
contact?
Make sure you don't feel that scalp. You still feel, yeah.
You feel
Feel
the
them.
tracks or what?
Yeah, the tracks. Tony, why you always wearing hat? You got hair?
Take that hat off before we go on our next date, right? So Angie said it is hard work. I always say to me, a real good marriage is hard work, but it's worth it, right? So she's saying it's hard work and it takes commitment to stay married because it can be easier sometimes to just say, hey, I quit, I give up. But a lot of times it's like, I'm not no quitter, but I also know that if I'm getting my tail kicked, I'm fitting to throw in a towel because I like my eyes. I'm not going to get my eyes beat out because I'm trying to
So
stay married.
let
Go
me
ahead.
ask you
I'm
this.
sorry.
What do you
Okay.
consider getting your tail kicked? Now I
Okay.
know, of course, we know mean like
I'm not
physically,
just
of
talking
course.
about physical. I'm not talking about physical. I
Mm-hmm.
was a victim of verbal abuse, for like 20 years or more. Really,
No,
seriously.
no.
Seriously.
Somebody
Oh,
asked if
I
I
thought you
had
was
my real
laughing at
teeth.
me. I was like, what? What did he say? Want
Somebody
to know
asked
what?
if I had my real teeth when I was dating them.
That's important. Some people want to know if I serve you corn on the cob, or you gonna have to eat it, or I'm gonna have to cut it off for you. I want to know. Hey, Karen. So I know we're being silly. They're like, y'all crazy. No, but you have to laugh at it because okay, I consider getting your butt kicked or being beat up is anytime you're being abused. And I'm saying when you don't know how to use something properly, an improper use of something is abuse, right? So if you don't know how to use your words properly, you use them wrong, they're abusive, right? If you don't know how to use your hands properly to caress and hug and you're slapping people or punching them, you're abusing them. So there is more abuse than just hitting.
But
I
let me
think
ask you this.
sometimes, okay.
Would you consider untrustworthiness in all its facets abuse?
Um, I could say it really makes things uncomfortable. And I think that trust can definitely be abused. It can be abused, especially if you're trusting someone to keep their word. You're trusting someone to have your back. You're trusting what came out of somebody's mouth to be truth, and it's a lie. So I think yes, mistrust can be a part of abuse,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's continual. It can be a problem. Um, and while we're on this, let's talk about the solution to these things because I talked to someone who I am connected with on business, and she and I have exchanges and conversations because we're both looking for our spouse, right? And she was like, I don't think premarital counseling or counseling at all is something I ever want to go through. I don't want to talk to anybody about what goes on in my house. And I said, whoa, that is where you're messing up. Because sometimes it's going to take a third party to be totally unbiased to listen to both sides. Because if you're strong about your point, I'm strong about my point, and we're just strong about it, and nothing is going anywhere. One of us is going to have to, both of us going to have to concede and say, let's get a second opinion. It's like going to a doctor. Let's get someone we trust and we both agree to listen to both sides and kind of be a referee so we can move forward and not just be stagnant. And so when we finished talking about things and how relationships fell apart in her past, she agreed. I thought, okay, you're right. I could see where having a third person come in could have made that stalemate better and could have made it to where, okay, now they feel like they're being heard because somebody else is listening. Because I'm not trying to listen because I'm strong about what I believe in. I believe I'm right. I believe I'm right. They believe they're right. And we're both wrong because
Right.
nobody's going anywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
so it don't matter if you're right if you're not moving and growing and things are not getting better. So you can be what they say you can be right to the point of that you're wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so did that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Hey nephew, my nephew just jumped on. Hey, so did that answer your question and how long you stay on the field and what else did you ask me? But and for you, I mean, for brothers, or I mean, well, I don't think I should have to ask you that. You're not on the field, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
how long do you play the field? I think is not a point. It's until you feel like I'm ready to come off. This is worth it. This is worth it. Not necessarily to sit on the bench. I'm going to play the game, but I know my position now
Right.
because I have someone else that is doing this with me, and I can play my position. They can play theirs. This game is over. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Joyce. So, let's try to share if you're on the field or playing the field and it's time for you to come off. Let's talk about some things you should consider. Hey, Doreen, what would you give a brother? He said, I'm ready to come off this field, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready to come off the bench,
Mm-hmm.
and you've done it. How do I know? How do I know I'm ready, ready? What are some things I can do to make sure I'm ready, ready, and that this thing is successful when I choose someone?
what can the gentleman do, or what should he be looking for? Are you asking what can he do within himself?
What can he do within himself? Because he's only going to know what he's looking for. But what can he do
Mhm.
within himself to maybe be more ready to figure out if that person is worth coming off the field for?
Ooh, I well, I think you have to ask yourself as a guy, are you willing to be totally transparent for
Goodness.
somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Um, are you willing to be, for the right person, vulnerable as a man? Because men feel that they can't be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, are you willing as a man to support
Hey, Dixie Cup.
a woman just as much as you would want her to support you?
Hmm.
Um, are you really willing as a man to be the head of the household?
Hmm. In whatever, yeah, in whatever capacity that that person deems that you need to.
Spiritual, yeah, spiritual,
Yeah.
everything. Are you really willing as a man to listen to your significant other's advice? Because I always say that women are more rational thinkers than men.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of plan things out where we kind of be in not all cases, but we kinds of sometimes are quick to move. So are you would you be willing to listen to wise counsel from that significant other? Now,
Hmm.
all of these things are relegated on making sure that you have your antenna open while you're um after you've played the field, and you're looking for a commitment, and
Right.
you see these aspects in the individual. You feel so,
Mm-hmm.
like, you are is this young lady supporting your vision and dreams and giving you pats on the back while you're dating? Is she all, giving you ideas about your business, or whatever the case may be while you're dating? um yeah. So, but those are what I would say. I mean, and
Okay. Okay.
this is looking back on
And
uh
you're
uh
saying this to the brothers, you know, you
yeah,
that's what they need
I've
to be.
said
That,
I've
yeah.
said this to brothers.
Okay. Okay.
Now I can't say this is just wisdom. This is 50 some odd years of of making mistakes and realizing and being mature and Holy Spirit, you know what I'm saying? But that's
Mm-hmm.
what I've said to some fellas. I said to my son-in-law. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, yeah.
So that's great advice. And I heard you say, are you willing to be vulnerable? Because I think that is like I think for me, I can't speak for other women, but I can because I've talked to other women. It is such a it is such a precious thing to know that that man is willing to share things with us that he doesn't share with everyone else. And
Right.
he feels safe enough to do that. To us, that is like, yes, that is like, I'm in there, you know,
But
and I
but
think that's what, go ahead.
you gotta really be prayed up on that, though, because I've seen that backfire. So you definitely want to be prayed up, and before begin to, and on both avenues as well, because
Hmm.
men
Hmm.
men do a horrible job at taking women's vulnerability and using it against them and make terrible. But yeah, I think you know um I think that old school mentality, of men can't cry or men can't share their hurts and stuff like that. We really need to let that go.
Yeah.
Because if you really got somebody I'm working on a song right now called Ride or Die. If you really got your ride or die with you, you can share everything. And she's not, even though she may not understand, hopefully she won't look at you side eye and make you feel some type of way where you will stop sharing things. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. But you said something though, if you know you can place your heart and your trust with that person, that already brings a stronger connection than with a whole
Mhm.
lot of other people. And I honestly, I think that's why, they say a lot of affairs and a lot of um You know, a lot of affairs happen in the workplace or with coworkers or with friends because they may have shared something with that person that they may can't share with anyone else. And that automatically draws them and builds that connection that you're
Right.
talking about, which is something that you build a relationship on. You know, back in the days, I would be like, oh, he didn't left his wife for a secretary. Well, guess who gets all of his stress and all of his concerns and all of his
Right.
worry, and who is trying to help him with those things? Usually it's the secretary, it's the person that, you know, they talk to at that when they're most vulnerable. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just, you know, I'm upset. This is not working. And God forbid you're talking to them about your spouse. And before you know it, you've built a stronger relationship with them than you
Yeah.
have with your partner because you feel like you
Mhm.
can't tell them everything. You're going to be judged.
Right.
So you said something key there, a point where you can be vulnerable and you can trust that person with your intimacy, with looking into me. I was like, until you can get intimate, and I'm not talking about the sex act, until you
Mhm.
can get intimate with someone, you won't understand or you won't feel that closeness. Because we both know you can do the act of it without being intimate with somebody, allowing people to see in you, intimacy. So when you can be that person with somebody, man, I'm telling you, everything else is gravy. I mean, it's just good to know that there's somebody in this world that is my ride or die, that got my
Mhm.
back, that sees me for who I am, not for my radio personality, not for my talk show personality, not for my job. Oh, she does this for a living, or he does this for a living, or he does music. He's a singer. Someone who doesn't see you just like that, but they see the person who is afraid of the dark, or
Right.
just the opposite, prefers it dark at night where you
Right.
can't see in front of your hand. You know, they know the most intimate details about you, what the trauma that happened when you were a kid that makes you like you are. Go ahead.
And I have to say too, you have to in relationships, let's say dating or married,
Hmm.
each person has to take the time out to allow that person that vulnerability. For instance,
Hmm.
you brought up a situation about somebody on the job talking to a coworker. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
you got time on the job. You know, you're probably
Hmm.
talking about stuff when you really should be working. So
Hmm.
it's time there. But when you come home and you got the kids and you got to rush them here, you got to rush them there. You had a long day on the job. You tired. You're trying to decompress, whatever the case may be. A lot of times, you know, you're like, I ain't trying to hear all that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you have to try to find some time where
Good
you
point.
have your come together time,
Yeah.
whatever. It may not be, it may not be Monday, Tuesday, it might be
No.
Saturday evening.
It might
Okay.
be Friday night date night. For
Friday
me,
night,
when I was
whatever it is, it
married, it
may
was
be
Friday night.
Sunday after church,
Yeah,
whatever it is, you
yeah.
gotta find that. Okay, tell me what happened during this week with you. What
Hmm.
happened during the week with you? You know, and then you know each person be that
No
sounding board.
judgment, no judgment. Just talk to
Exactly.
me.
Just
All the
talk.
stuff that's on your heart. And
Yeah.
the phone goes down. No,
Yes.
the kids, everything, the
Right.
business and the personal relationships, everything gets put on hold. So
Yeah.
it's just us two.
Yeah.
And there's no distractions.
Yep.
People are afraid of that time, believe it or not. People are afraid of what comes out when you do that. Because it really says, yeah, I had to get my water, y'all. This is water tonight. This is sparkling water. But I have to, when I'm talking so much, I have to sip in between. But I think people are afraid of that sometimes, Tony. They do not want to say what happened and how you feel, and if you're feeling defeated. They're afraid of the judgment, or they're afraid that somebody will look at them like, oh, they don't have it all together. You know, they fuss at me about not having it all together. They don't have it all together. No, this is no time for judgment. We're going to just be naked before each other.
Mhm.
I'm talking not clothes wise. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Just
Just open straight
honest
up.
and
Mhm.
open, straight up, like it or not. This is how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Is I don't need you to fix it. I don't need you to comment. I need you to hear it. That's all. I just need you to hear my heart. And I'm gonna give you space to share yours. And then we go do something fun and we figure out, you know, during the week what we can do to make that better for each other. I said, you need to be able to make it better for your partner. Y'all have enough fighting outside. When we come in the house, this needs to be the demilitarization zone. The
Right,
peace.
right.
This
Yeah,
needs
yeah,
to
yeah.
be the peace. You got to have a place for peace
Yeah.
somewhere. And I think that's why some people don't want to get married, because they're used to being single and coming home and can just zone out if they want to and have a spot and a space for
Yeah.
peace.
I got a couple of homegirls that are single and they're in their 40s. And I say, man, I don't know if you ever gonna get married because you used to coming home and this is how it is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so yeah, I get you on that. But I will say this too. What I've said at the house is I would at this age, just be honest with me. And even to the point, if you feel like it might be something that's going to hurt my feelings, I'd
Just
rather
tell
you
me.
be correct. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing you ain't got to worry about, Tony D, is I'm going to tell you, I'm going to try to make it as nice as possible because I can't get New York real quick and it just comes out. Like Mary, me and Mary are very similar. It's going to come out. But I try to, especially dealing with women, you can't always just be like, blah,
Yeah, them words can
Yeah.
hurt. And
And,
and then you want to apologize and take it back, but that's one thing you cannot take back. You cannot
yeah.
unhear something. That's why
Yeah.
it's so important to guard it, what you're saying.
Yeah. So with that being said, this and ladies, hear me out. And all the fellas, don't leave me out here hanging. But if it is, I'm just gonna say it because it's true. If old boys say, I don't want to talk about that right now, let it ride. Don't keep Well,
Table it. Table it. Table it for
exactly
another time.
until
It's
it
not
calms
time.
down the situation. Because if you keep on approaching him, then he may say something, you know, that everybody regrets. So if he's saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
baby, just pump your brakes. I ain't at that moment right now. Let me give him some time." And the same with the ladies too. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say that goes both ways, because
Yeah.
yeah, women have some firepower
Yeah.
when it comes to words, and that is why I think that is mentioned too biblically. I'd rather live on the rooftop of a house than in a house with a squabbling woman, with a woman who's
Right.
always complaining and arguing, and it's no peace.
Right.
So honestly, I have a new phrase for me. When I do tie the knot, please know that's a peace partnership for me.
Mm.
I will not be in a situation where there's no peace. Uh, I won't. I mean, because I bring it. So if I bring it, I'm thinking if I'm giving it, I should be able to reap it. That's the law of nature. What you reap, what you sow. So if I'm reaping and careful about giving peace and making my home a home of peace, what you're not gonna do is bring hell in my home. You're not gonna do it.
You know what?
So
So
hey,
Mary says she likes what she has and she's not sure she's going to be able to compromise. Well, I've seen now that they have relationships. Shirley
mhm,
Ralph is in one where she's been married. She got her house.
live in separate
Her
places.
husband got his house. They come together to do whatever they got to do, chill out, whatever. And then they go back home. You know what I'm saying?
I think
So
Whoopi Goldberg said that too. She said, I don't want another person in my home. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to be married, because I literally don't want to live with anybody. I met somebody. Angie and I were sitting at a table with a woman. Her and her husband had been married, I want to say maybe 17 years, and lived across the street from each other. They would have their meals together, and their first time ever, because they had separate homes when they got married, and they had children, and they didn't want to give it up and disturb the stability of their children. They were lived across the street from each other, and they were like, the kids are grown, they're gone, and we're like, okay, this does not make sense. We need a home. So she built a long hallway. They have suites. They have master suites on both sides, the east side and the west side of their home, with a long hallway. And I mean, hey, I'm just saying, where there's a will, there's a way.
So Angie said, "What happens to the intimacy if you go home at night?" Let me tell you, you ain't always got to go home at night. You know what I'm
You can
saying?
spend the night. You can spend
Yeah,
the night.
you ain't always got to go home. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like this: if that was my situation, I would have the house conducive to both of us. Okay. If I had to look at that, I would say you got your house, but let Tony D have a little say so of decorations and I'll do the same for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even though we're separate, we still feel like it's not, this is just my pad and that's your pad.
Yeah. And I know
And
we're going over. See how fast this thing goes. But I'm telling you, that's why you have stuff like man caves and sheds, all kinds of stuff. People like having a space. So with that being said, I know our producer is going to be like, do y'all want me to cut y'all off? Because y'all are still going strong. An hour goes by so fast. And so, as I mentioned, I knew my brother was going to bring it. Thank you for the advice you're giving. Can I ask you this and put you on the spot? If I ask you to come back on another time and another date, would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, I would. Now that I know what you're going to ask me. Yeah, I'm cool now. I'm comfortable. I was a little nervous at first. I was like, oh Lord.
We're like, oh Lord, what is she going to be up to?
I'm cool. This was dope.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Y'all, we're out of time. We went over, and thank you for locking in, tagging in, whatever. And we're going to see you next time when we come together and we just have straight talk from the heart on Pat Nash Talks. Good night.
Hi, I'm Pat Nash, and I want to speak to you a little bit about dreams, about hope, about maybe giving up or wondering why you haven't moved forward. Someone asked me, how did you get here to be a relationship coach? It actually came out of a need for myself and what I observed looking around after I asked myself a couple of questions. Why was I not doing the things that I wanted to do? Why had I gone through divorce? I realized I was not the only one. You see, there's a lot of us who stopped hoping, who stopped dreaming, who stopped chasing our dreams or going after our dreams because we don't have to chase anything. When we look internally and figure out what it is that's holding us back, the sky's the limit and you don't have to chase anything. You attract it.
Hello, business owners. This is your fit photographer, Angee Gerard, coming at you with my 2025 campaign. The goal is to promote and empower her enterprise. Yes, the goal is to elevate women of color in business. On March the 1st, we are set to launch this new campaign, and it doesn't matter what your business is. Please contact us at www.andregerardphotography.com to book your consultation. Let's make this an amazing year. Follow me on all social media at Angee Gerard, your fit photographer.